Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As the title says, today I'm going to be discussing body dysmorphia. Now, this is something that I've toyed about doing this video. I've sort of put it off a little bit, being quite apprehensive about filming this. The reason behind that is because it's a very scary subject for me to talk about, because body dysmorphia is something that is still very much present in my life at the moment. If you do follow me over on social media on Instagram, you'll know that I have touched on body dysmorphia before. I've done a few posts sort of lightly covering it, but I've never gone into too much detail. I think it would quite surprise people who do follow me over there to the extent that body dysmorphia has affected my life over the last 2 years. It's only sort of been the last 6 months that I've managed to recognise body dysmorphia and found some coping mechanisms. My confidence is a lot higher now than it was 6 months ago with my body. So I've managed to find certain ways to move forward with body dysmorphia, but just a bit of a disclaimer that I am not sat here today as somebody saying I used to suffer with body dysmorphia and I found a cure and I'm now completely better and I don't struggle with it and you can do the same. I am somebody still going through the process of coping with body dysmorphia. I've only recently sort of found out exactly what body dysmorphia is, but I want to share with you a few of my coping mechanisms. As somebody who's still going through the process, it feels like the right time now to just be really honest, put all of my cards on the table, say these are my struggles and this is how I'm moving forward. So what is body dysmorphia? So it's also known as body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD for short. The medical definition of body dysmorphia is a mental health disorder in which you can't stop thinking about one or more perceived defects or flaws in your appearance, usually a flaw that appears minor and can't be seen by others, but may make you feel embarrassed, ashamed and anxious. Now, I think it's really important to differentiate between low self-esteem and low confidence and body dysmorphia. They are two separate things. Low self-esteem and confidence issues are something that are going to affect almost everybody during their life. It's certainly something that I've had throughout my whole life. It's confidence issues with the way that I looked, but body dysmorphia is to a much more extreme level. It's not something that I used to suffer with. It's been quite a new thing for me, body dysmorphia, over the last 2 years. And it is exhausting. Body dysmorphia in regards of, so I can sort of explain to you the level of the confidence issues that you have, it's when you start to see yourself as almost disfigured or distorted. You cannot stop thinking about a certain aspect of your body. For me, it was my weight and my overall body image, the size of my body. But a lot of people can suffer with body dysmorphia for all sorts of things. It's always a physical appearance. So it's usually something like acne, skin, it can be hair, it can be how white your teeth are, it could be facial features such as eyes or nose, it can be your smile, it could be skin on your body, so you could have rough skin on your arms potentially. But for me, it was weight and the shape of my body is where the body dysmorphia has come from over the last 2 years. Now, if you're not familiar with my sort of weight loss journey, about 2 years ago I started losing weight and I went from a dress size 18 to a dress size 10. I actually managed to lose 5.5 stone. Now, prior to 2 years, I was overweight for most of my life. So I found that I did have low self-esteem and I had low confidence, but I certainly didn't have body dysmorphia. And that's because what you saw was what you got. I knew I was overweight. I knew what I looked like. I knew that the way that other people could see me was the same as what I saw myself. I was just a slightly larger girl. From losing weight, that's when the body dysmorphia has crept in. Now, I'm not saying that I regret losing weight and that I wish I hadn't done it, but I think it's really important to make people aware who are going through their own weight loss journeys that it can create insecurities in yourself. It can create new insecurities, and for me that crept in with body dysmorphia. I first knew that I had a problem with body dysmorphia was when I realised that I wasn't seeing the same image in the mirror as to what I was seeing in pictures. Now, I documented my weight loss in a very public way online using social media, so I was very used to putting up transformation pictures of myself. I was able to see my progress that way through pictures. But one thing I didn't really talk about too much was what I was seeing in the mirror. The only way for me to explain this, and I've explained it to other people before who've gone through things like body dysmorphia and they can really relate to it, is when you look in the mirror, you can't see your body shape. You can see an image back at you, but it's very difficult to actually see the outline of your body. It's almost like a blur. And I think part of where that comes from is because for so many years I had looked in the mirror and I had seen a certain image coming back at me, which was overweight, that it's extremely difficult to then look at your reflection and to see how that's changed. It won't make sense to everybody. It will make sense to people who've experienced this, but it's really important for me to put out there that the biggest thing why I sort of recognised I was suffering with this disorder was because the mirror was almost lying to me. What I was seeing in the mirror wasn't what other people were seeing, and it wasn't what I was seeing in pictures, which is why when somebody takes my picture now, or over the last sort of year and a half when I've lost the weight, I'm very shocked by images sometimes I see of myself. I've spent all day worrying that I look overweight because of what I've seen in the mirror that morning, that when I see my picture, I'm very surprised of, oh, okay, no, I actually look like that. But then the second I look in the mirror again, those doubts start creeping back in because I don't see what I see in that picture. Part of the reason why this has been quite scary to talk about as well, because I'm very conscious about coming across as attention seeking. That's something I know that a lot of people struggle with body dysmorphia, and what puts a lot of people off opening up and talking about it and reaching out for help is because you don't want to seem like you're saying, I don't like this about myself, or this isn't right about myself, to try to get compliments. If you would have told me when I was a size 18 that I would be a size 10 and I would still feel very overweight, I absolutely wouldn't have believed you. Now, I said I was going to do this video without crying. Tears will start creeping in because this is a very scary thing for me to talk about, and it's very raw because it's still going on in my life now. But as I say, when I was a size 18, I wouldn't have even believed that I couldn't be anything other than ecstatic with my body if I was a dress size 10. The fact I'm now a dress size 10, and a lot of the time I do still feel overweight, it amazes me, it shocks me. So I don't want to come across as attention seeking or looking for compliments, or people telling me, no, you are thinner, you're not overweight, that you don't need to be worrying about this. And I think that does put a lot of people off speaking about this subject. The main way that it sort of affects my life day to day is that it's constant. Body dysmorphia is exhausting because from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, sometimes I'm thinking about my size. I can get up in the morning, I can look in the mirror, and not every day. There are some days that you have good days and you think, oh, this is great, or a certain outfit that you're wearing and you feel good about yourself. But a majority of days I'll look in the mirror still in the morning and I won't like what I see. I'll be extremely critical. I'm very, very self-critical. So instead of looking at myself in the morning and saying, yeah, you caught the sun yesterday, you've got a nice tan, or your hair looks nice, or your legs are looking a little bit more toned, I will instantly zone in on my stomach. I've got loose skin and stretch marks there. I will zone in on those. I will zone in on the fact I don't like my breasts anymore. And the biggest thing for me and my body dysmorphia is my arms. Now, when I say the difference between having sort of a confidence issue with an area of your body or suffering with body dysmorphia, is that I almost view my arms as distorted. They're not normal. They're not like everybody else's arms, which is why it's incredibly rare for me to wear my arms out. I will usually cover them up. Over the last 6 months, I've got a lot better, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes, about how I've managed to improve my body dysmorphia. But my arms are my biggest thing for me, and it's not like I just dislike them. It's not like, oh, they could be a little bit thinner. For me, they are different than everybody else's, and if I go out in public with my arms out, people are going to talk about them because they'll say, look at the size of those arms. Now, I know that's completely irrational. I know in my head there is nothing different about my arms than anybody else's arms. They are normal arms, but for me that's just sort of the extent of body dysmorphia, that today is one of the hottest days of the year and I'm sat here in a long sleeve top because of my insecurities about my arms. I feel like they are not normal. So the biggest thing going about day to day is obviously you get up in the morning, you see, and right from the get-go you are doubting yourself, you're putting yourself down, you've got these voices in your head which is the body dysmorphia, and it's telling you you are not good enough, this is not normal about yourself, you should be worried about this. Now you can manage to sort of break through that, you know, I'll put makeup on, I'll do my hair as nice as I can, sort of anything I can to make myself feel a little bit better about my image and my body image, but I'm just masking what the real problem is. So the real problem for me would be my arms. So I would say, okay, I'm feeling brave, I'm going to go out with my arms out today. I'll feel quite brave, I'll go out, I'll make sure I've got my, you know, my hair and makeup nice, give me that little bit of extra confidence. The second I see a reflective surface, so you're talking about a mirror out in public or shop windows. Shop windows are the absolute worst for body dysmorphia. When you're walking down a high street or something, or you go into a shop and you catch a glimpse of yourself in a reflective surface, there it is, it kicks straight back in again. So the first thing I will see in that reflective surface is my arms. Then of course it starts worrying again. If I was going out for lunch, I'd then sit there the entire time thinking I need to cover my arms, everybody can see what I have just seen in that reflective surface. And it can be really, really tiring because you're thinking about this all the time. You'll start to come up with voices in your head that will tell you that everybody else is talking about you. If you catch a glimpse of somebody looking at you, they could be looking at you for any kind of reason at all. They could not even know that they're looking at you. But that body dysmorphic voice in your head will tell you, they're not looking at me, they're looking at my arms, or they're looking at whatever hang-up area you have about yourself. Something I used to really struggle with as well, and I say this when I was overweight before, and I wasn't struggling with body dysmorphia, but I was struggling with very low self-esteem about certain things, was my hands. I didn't feel like my hands were normal. And I guess it was kind of a little bit of BDD slipping into my pre-weight loss life, where I thought that my hands were absolutely horrendous. And I'll put some images up on the screen now of what I used to do. If anybody went to take my picture, I couldn't stand the thought of having my hands in there. I thought, nobody can see these hands. I don't want these hands in an image. So I used to hide my hands and I used to put them in my bag. And now when I look back at pictures, it looks absolutely ridiculous. You know, when you put the pictures together, you can sort of pick up on the theme that I'm hiding my hands. But for me, I had to hide that part of my body, and that's what I'm a little bit now like with my arms. I have to hide them. If somebody went to take a picture of me with my arms out, it would be, you know, who can I stand behind? How can I get my arms out of this picture? As I say, it was about 2 years ago when I first noticed that I was struggling with body dysmorphia, and it coincided with my weight loss. I was a lot more critical about myself after losing weight. I've lost the weight. Why aren't I looking like these people in the magazines? Why do I have loose skin here? Why are my arms still big? Why am I not happy with myself? And that's where guilt slightly clicks in as well. When people compliment you on your weight loss, there was a big thing for me, and it would sound crazy and completely irrational, I know. But when I was losing weight and people would say to me, you've lost weight, or you look great, or how are you doing it, or I can't believe how much weight you've lost. Because I was documenting my weight loss online, in my head, I believed that I wasn't losing any weight, that I didn't look any different, and people were complimenting me because they felt sorry for me. Again, completely irrational, not logical at all, because there were people who hadn't seen my social media and knew that I was losing weight. People were genuinely just recognising it and complimenting me on it. But I had this voice in my head saying, they're just saying that to you. They're just complimenting you because they're thinking, oh, there's the girl who thinks that she's losing weight, but she's not. So that was a big fear of mine for a long time. And it would sort of make me feel quite guilty when people would compliment me on my weight loss, and they'd say amazing things like, oh, you must be so proud of yourself, or you must be so happy. And I would answer with yes, but in my head I was screaming no. I was screaming, I'm not happy, because I'm still struggling with this body dysmorphia so much. I don't see myself as I've lost this weight and I'm really happy with my body now. And inside I didn't want to come across as ungrateful for my weight loss, or that I took it for granted. But I would always, you know, say to people, yes, yeah, no, I do feel good. But inside I wasn't feeling like that at all. And I get glimpses of that now sometimes. It was more right as I was losing the weight, and I really believe that people were complimenting me just because they felt bad for me. Through sort of about 1.5 years of this, and it's been, as I say, the last 6 months where I've had a bit of an improvement with my body dysmorphia. Part of that, I think, is growing older. I'm now in my 30s. I turned 30 this year. My mid-20s, I really thought I'd grown up. I really thought I'd changed a lot and I was an adult. And the changing that I have done in the last year and turning 30 has been ridiculous. I feel like I am a completely different person mentally, and that's because I think as I've got older I care slightly less. I really do care less what people think about me, and I think that's because as I'm getting older I've started to realise that life is too short. It really is too short. I have spent 10 years feeling insecure about how I look and not wearing certain outfits and not enjoying time out with friends and events and lunch, because I've been so worried about what I look like and people judging me, that I've wasted those 10 years. There's been some really special sort of moments and memories in my life when actually they stand out to me because of the way that I was feeling about my body image. And I don't want to waste the next 10 years anymore. I want to be able to embrace life and wear what I want and not have that constant heavy stress of my body image anymore. So I do think it's partly as I've grown a bit older. But the biggest thing for me with dealing with body dysmorphia is acceptance. So I didn't really know what body dysmorphia was before. I think it's incredible over sort of the last 5 years, the way that people speak about mental health now and breaking down those stigmas with mental health and people talking out. But body dysmorphia to me is still something that isn't spoken about enough, and that's another reason why I wanted to post this video as somebody who's going through it. We've still got work to do in talking about body dysmorphia as a subject. For me, accepting it, I mean, I originally accepted it when I spoke to my mum. It's not something that I don't really discuss this with friends too much. Again, because I can be a bit embarrassed about this or feel like I'm attention seeking. So I actually spoke to my mum and I said to her, I'm concerned that I'm always going to feel like this, that I've gone through this weight loss and I've worked so hard on myself. What if I always feel like this and I never get that sort of contentment from losing weight? I'm always going to be worried about my body. My mum made a really good point to me that the first step is accepting it. I now know that this is an issue for me. I can accept it and I've spoken about it. I've told somebody about it and I'm now telling the internet about it. So I think for me that is a big step, is accepting, yes, I do suffer with this. This is a disorder. You know, when you look at the list of symptoms for it, I tick every one. And I'm able to say to myself now, when I'm feeling insecure or when I catch my reflection in a mirror or a shop window or something, this is your body dysmorphia talking. Now, I'm not saying that cures it and that it makes it go away, but it certainly eases it, knowing that I've now accepted that I do suffer with body dysmorphia. The next thing that I would sort of advise anybody to do, if you feel like you're suffering with body dysmorphia on a day-to-day basis and it's really affecting you and your mood, is to go and speak to a professional. It's kind of hypocritical for me to say at the moment because I'm still in that place where I'm plucking up the courage to go and speak to somebody about getting some therapy. But CBT therapy, that's an avenue that you'll be guided down almost straight away. I think that CBT is something that can really help with body dysmorphia from research that I've done. CBT therapy is something that I have had in the past. I've had that for anxiety, but I haven't yet approached that about body dysmorphia. But I would really urge anybody to go and speak to a doctor or a GP. The reason why that's so important to be reaching out and speak to somebody is because I don't think people realise how extreme the effects of body dysmorphia can be on somebody and their mental health. It can really slip you into very depressive thoughts. This is quite an emotional part of the video, but also suicidal thoughts. I'm not saying that that's something that I've suffered with myself, but I know it's very common with body dysmorphia. Nobody should be feeling suicidal thoughts over their body image. Nobody's body is that bad or that abnormal that you should be thinking about taking your own life. We are all completely different. We are different sizes, we're different shapes. We all have differences in our bodies. Nobody should be feeling suicidal over their body. So I think it's really important that we keep on raising awareness about body dysmorphia to help push people to go and speak to their GP and doctor. We need to normalise this, break down that stigma that you're going to be going there with no real issue like you're attention seeking, because there can be some very, very, very serious side effects of body dysmorphia and the mental state that it can put people in. The way in which you can potentially help yourself with body dysmorphia or make things a little bit easier for yourself is to consider your social media. Now, for me, I might be perceived as a social media influencer. I have quite a large platform over on Instagram. So I sort of use that platform to influence people with weight loss, and I'd like to think it's healthy weight loss. But have a look at your social media accounts, what you're following. There are a lot of accounts out there, sort of fitness accounts and health and well-being, and there are some incredible ones out there, but there's also some very unrealistic ones. There's ones where people have been airbrushed, they have been edited, and they are just showing their best life. They're just showing their best parts. They're showing off their incredible bodies, you know, that are all tucked away in gym leggings, and you can't see, maybe if they've lost a lot of weight, you can't see the real effects of weight loss, which are things like stretch marks. They're things like loose skin. And this is what I really, really try to push on my Instagram account, is real images of my body. This is what weight loss honestly looks like, and cellulite is normal, and stretch marks are normal, and loose skin is normal, and we don't all wake up looking like we do after we've done our hair and our makeup. So really have a look. If there are any social media accounts that you are following that make you feel bad about yourself, you should not be following them. Social media is something that's very personal to people, very private, and you should never be following an influencer that makes you doubt yourself. It makes you doubt your body image and think, I don't look like that person, and it makes me feel bad about myself. So go and delete those. It's so easy to do. Block those, get those out of your life if they are having a negative effect on your body image and your mental health. Now, on the flip side of that, although I am absolutely amazed by this body positive movement that's been going on the last couple of years, I think it's incredible that people are now showing the real sides of themselves. And there's a lot of accounts out there which sort of focus very much on self-love and self-acceptance, and they will show images of how you should be loving every weight, every size, every height, any imperfection, and saying that I'm now at peace with this and I love how I look and I'll never have any sort of insecurities about my body again. And I think that is fantastic for those people who've got to that point. But if you are following accounts like this as well, as much as they will do good for your mental health, please be aware that you might not change your feelings overnight. So if you follow someone who says, you know, screw it to ideal body images and power to us and we should all be self-loving the way that we look right now, absolutely a great message, but it might take you a little bit longer to get to that point. So I don't want anybody to ever be feeling like, well, that person loves themselves and they might be larger than me or skinnier than me, or they might have a different body shape. Why don't I love myself? It won't happen overnight for people. So I don't want you to think that because there's been this big self-love movement that you instantly have to be a part of that, because it doesn't work like that. It's taking me years to reach that point. And although I'm a lot happier with my body image now, and I do love myself a lot more than I did 2 years ago, I'm certainly not one of those people who will now say, this is my body and I love it. I still have my insecurities and hang-ups. So if you do follow those sort of accounts as well, I would say they're a lot more positive for your mindset than the unrealistic accounts. And it's great to see this sort of real side to women. But be aware that you might not change your mind into their mindset as quickly as they have. And there is no pressure on you to be feeling this sort of self-love. It's a goal that you want to get to, but you've got to go through steps to get there. You've got to go through a process, and it's going to take time. I hope this video has, at the very least, been relatable to a few people. As I say, I'm still very much on my journey with body dysmorphia. I'm not an expert in the field. I'm not a GP, a doctor. I'm not a therapist, but I am someone who's going through it, and I've never spoken so publicly about my struggles with body dysmorphia, but there are a few sort of things that I've put in there at the end of how I'm working with it, and I really am working with it since I've accepted my body dysmorphia, and I feel a lot more confident in speaking out about it now without being embarrassed or being judged by it or feeling like I'm attention seeking. That's been the biggest step for me, and I wish that more people would keep speaking up about this. I think there's a lot more people out there who are suffering with these kind of feelings than what they led on to, because it's a very personal thing to talk about. Body dysmorphia, if you feel like you might be struggling with it, as I've said, you can approach a GP or a doctor, but I think it's also important to put out there there's a lot of helplines, there's a lot of websites that can help you, and I'm going to link them down in the bio below. So if you've watched this video and you feel like you can relate, you can just head straight over to those websites and check them out. Some of them have a live chat as well, so you can start speaking to somebody straight away if you feel like you've got the confidence to do that, but I will link those down in the bio below. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Potentially it might have helped somebody, or it might just explain to those people who don't know what body dysmorphia is, what it really is from in the mindset of somebody who struggles with it. Apologies about the tears. As I say, it's a very raw subject for me to talk about, but I kind of feel relief, I think, once I put this video up and I've put it out there. If you want to check out my Instagram, I know I've mentioned it a couple of times during the video, I will link that down below as well. It's Hayley's Weight Loss Journey. You can find me over on Instagram, where I do regularly post about mental health as well as weight loss. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe if you are interested in my sort of journey with weight loss. I'm trying to do a few bits about beauty as well, and of course I touch on mental health because I try and be as honest as I can about that. If you feel like you're struggling and you want to talk to me, you can either drop that in the comments below if you have any questions about body dysmorphia or something that might help you relate to your body dysmorphia. If you don't want to do that publicly, head on over to Instagram. You can send me a direct message on there. But I hope everybody is keeping safe and well as always, and I will catch you in the next video.